Welcome to the Dinosaur Review for Kids podcast, a show all about reviewing dinosaurs on a scale of 1 to 10 fossils before only the elite terrible lizards make it into the prehistoric cage match. This program is presented by the Stomp Company and can be heard within all the rock layers across the planet. Grab your dinosaurs and your official scorecard because it's now time to dig for dinosaurs. Here's your Mesozoic host, Dinosaur Ranger Anthony.
Good evening. This is the 68th time I have spoken to you from inside this studio, where so many decisions have been made that shape the history of our podcast. Each time, I have done so to review with you some matter that I believe affected your prehistoric interest. In all the decisions that I have made on the Dinosaur Review for Kids podcast, I have always tried to do what was best for the listeners. Throughout the long and difficult period of dino-gate, I have always felt it was my duty to persevere and to make every possible effort to complete my term of office to which you elected me. Wait a minute, you didn't elect me, and what's this thing called dino-gate? I'm not a crook, I'm just your historian and your terrific host of the Dinosaur Review for Kids podcast. My name is Dinosaur Ranger Anthony. Now, welcome back all my junior paleontologists, or should I say my junior presidents. Thank you so much for returning for another monumental episode of our podcast. Today, on our prehistoric road trip, we have landed in a suburb of Los Angeles, California called Yorba Linda. And this small community is known as the Land of Gracious Living. And it also happens to be the birthplace of the 37th President of the United States of America, Richard M. Nixon. Now, my family and I visited his library and museum when we went to Los Angeles last April on our Disneyland vacation, and we went to Universal Studios too. You know I had to go to the Jurassic World part of the theme park. It was so much fun. Now, you guys, it was a great vacation, and I can't wait to go back to Disney. And hey, we might just be going on a Disney cruise next year, but shh! Now, tricky President Nixon was elected president back in 1968, and that's why he's the theme of our 68th episode of the Dinosaur Review for Kids podcast. President Nixon did have some controversial things happen during his term, like that pesky dino-gate, Watergate, but he also did some stuff, you guys, that is still in effect to this day. But a lot of people will always remember him as the first president to ever resign. But like I said, he did do some good things that are still in place today. And I wonder what his favorite dinosaur would have been. Probably that tyrant lizard king, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. But before we grab our legal pads and start this review, let's update you guys on some dinopreneur news. Well, you guys, it's almost time for my summer fun to begin. My summer schedule will kick off on Thursday, June 1st, and I have something to do almost every day from June 1st all the way up to August 4th. I'll be doing 2 to 3 shows a day almost every single weekday. Now, of course, I have some days blocked off, like the 4th of July, my 11-year wedding anniversary, and a couple Fridays that will be out of town on some weekend family vacations. I just can't wait for the fun to begin. Now, the Dinosaur Review for Kids podcast just went over 21,000 downloads. That's right, 21,000 downloads for the Dinosaur Review for Kids podcast. Isn't that amazing? I truly couldn't have done it with all your support from all my wonderful listeners just like you. So please continue to listen and encourage your friends and your family to listen as well. And from the bottom of my Brachiosaurus-like heart, thank you so much. Now, yesterday, I ran 13.1 miles. Can you believe that? I went out and ran in the Lincoln Half Marathon, and this was my 11th year in a row running this race, and I was quicker than a Gallimimus running away from a T-Rex. Well, maybe not that fast. Well, you guys, we went to my grandma's house. It's her favorite weekend of the entire year. We go down on Saturday night. We have a spaghetti feed at her house. It's just so much fun. And then on Sunday morning, we get up at 5 a.m. so that we can prep for the race. At 7 a.m., the cannon goes off down by the Memorial Hall and the Cornhuskers football stadium. And then I get to running all throughout downtown Lincoln, all the way to 48th Street and back. It's just so much fun. And my legs are definitely feeling it today. They are so sore. My feet are sore. My knees are sore. My calves, my hamstrings, all those leg muscles are just so sore. Now, sadly, it wasn't my best race, but I'm still happy with how it turned out. I ran 3.5 minutes faster than last year, and I finished in 1 hour, 55 minutes, and 43 seconds. I even started getting a little bit faster during my 11 and 12 as I was on the front stretch or the back stretch, leading up to the finish line right there in front of the Cornhusker Stadium. It was just so much fun, but like I said, my legs are definitely feeling it today. Now, my fastest half marathon ever, I did in 1 hour and 37 minutes, and there's another 37. I just love the number 37. Nebraska is the 37th state in the country. My Jeep is number 37, and Richard Nixon is the 37th president in the United States. But hey, I'm not 37 yet. I'm only 33, but I'll be 34 in August. Now, you guys, I promised that I would bring Pleistocene, the Solidago monster, or the Solidago mammoth, and he's here. So for my video podcast watchers, I got him right here. You can see him in the flesh, in his furriness, you guys. So this one is Pleistocene, my woolly mammoth puppet that I'm bringing to all my shows this year. He's a Sesame Street-like puppet that eats all kinds of goldenrod flowers, which happen to be the Solidago, and that's why he's the Solidago monster, or the mammoth, and he's just so cool. And he's kind of like Cookie Monster, or Snuffleupagus from Sesame Street. I just love him so much. I made all of his features from his toes all the way up here to his hairs that he has on his head. You guys, I made some really cool tusks on him. I made his eyeballs right there, and he can even blink his eyes. I made a super cool eyebrow mechanism in there so he can blink his eyes, you guys. He has that bushy eyebrow on top, those 2 ears on the side. He can open his mouth. You can see his flat teeth. He has that big trunk right there that makes him a type of elephant or a proboscidean and our woolly mammoth. So he's just so cool. I sewed every stitch, and I'm just so proud of how well he turned out. And the kids absolutely love him. Now, if you guys want to see how I made Pleistocene, our woolly mammoth monster right here, you can head to my YouTube just by searching Stomp, Chomp, Roar, and you'll find the video of how I introduced him to YouTube, and I showed you guys all the steps I kind of did in making our new Sesame Street-like puppet right here. Well, you guys, what do you think of Pleistocene, our woolly mammoth puppet? Well, now I think it's time for some woolly mammoth-like shout-outs. So say bye, Pleistocene, and come back down here by our studio table. Now, you guys, like I said, it's time for some awesome shout-outs. So shout out to Legacy School. We visited them for the second time. We went last Wednesday, had so much fun, you guys. They just totally rock. They love dinosaurs. They roared like dinosaurs, and they had so much fun about learning about fossils, prehistoric life, and all kinds of those terrible lizards. Now, shout out to the Henry Dorley Zoo and Wildlife Safari Park. Last Thursday, I was a part of their media and social media influencers preview night. So many cool dinosaurs. They have all those animatronic dinosaurs throughout the safari park. So normally they have all kinds of creatures from Nebraska. They have some bison, some huge black elks, bald eagles, some wolves, a bear. And this time for this year, all the way up to October 1st, they have all kinds of these robotic animatronic dinosaurs all throughout the park. And they just look so cool. So the zoo was so nice to invite me for their preview night, you guys. I was there for a little over 3 hours doing a little bit of entertaining, teaching all the kids that came through all about more dinosaurs that might be in there in the park. So it was so much fun, you guys, and you're going to have to check it out this summer. And hey, maybe you'll even see me there this summer all the way up to October 1st. Now, shout out to Raymond Central Elementary School. They have the kids from Ceresco and Valparaiso, and you guys, it was so much fun out there. I drove about an hour away towards the west to Valparaiso, and we just had so much fun teaching these elementary school kids all about prehistoric life as part of our prehistoric pep rally. It was so much fun. Now, a happy 4th birthday to River. We did a Triassic birthday party for him last Saturday out at the Waterloo Library. Had tons of fun, and we really had fun knocking out all those ice cubes and getting all those Ice Age creatures out there. And I think River even got the mastodon, which is kind of like a woolly mammoth like Pleistocene right there. Now, also a happy 6th birthday to Haley. We also did another Triassic birthday party last Saturday for Haley. She had seen me back at the Durham Museum last year, and there went my dinosaur. But she saw me at the Durham Museum last year, and they had to have me for a birthday party, and it was so much fun, you guys. We learned all about dinosaurs, did our dig site, digging for all kinds of little creatures, and you guys, she had a stuffed Spinosaurus. Her favorite dinosaur, the Spinosaurus, just like mine. And I've got Paleo, our Spinosaurus, and they totally became friends right there on the spot. Now, shout out to Mrs. Pontiero and her music program. You guys, my wife is celebrating her 10-year anniversary as a teacher. Can you believe that? She works over at Hitchcock Elementary School where she's the music teacher. Last Thursday, I went to her music program for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. They did such an amazing time. I never miss one of her music programs, you guys, and it was just so great. And this Wednesday, we'll be going to the Millard Public Schools banquet to celebrate her 10-year anniversary as a teacher within the district. So congratulations to my beautiful wife and Dinosaur Ranger Elise. Now, a happy 14th birthday to Junior Ranger Cecilia. She's my oldest daughter, and she's celebrating her 14th birthday today, the same day I'm recording my podcast, and I can't believe how old she is. Time honestly goes by so fast, and you guys never grow up, never grow old, and if you do grow old, make sure to always love dinosaurs. So again, happy birthday to Junior Dinosaur Ranger Cecilia. Now, you guys, let's go ahead and grab our legal pads and our official Dinosaur Review for Kids scorecards, because it's time to start our debate for our next episode. Well, maybe it's not a debate, but it's definitely a review. Let's start a debate-style review for today's episode. Here we go, all my junior paleontologists. It's time to prove to you why this dinosaur genus is one of the best dinosaurs that ever walked the earth back during that Mesozoic era. Now, today's genus, we're talking about the Ichthyovenator. The Ichthyovenator. Now, I've seen this name pronounced a few different ways, but I really like to say the Ichthyovenator. And the Ichthyovenator, its name means the fish hunter. The fish hunter is the Ichthyovenator. Now, what type of dinosaur is this? What is the dinosaur order for our Ichthyovenator? Well, this one is a Saurischian dinosaur. Those are the lizard-hipped dinosaurs. And then it falls into the theropod family. Everyone knows those theropods. Those are the bipedal, walking on 2 legs, carnivores. They're eating all kinds of meat with those sharp teeth up there. But what kind of meat are they eating? As we guess our name, the fish hunter, they're probably eating all kinds of stuff out of the water. And then our Ichthyovenator is a Spinosaurid, so it falls in the family of all those different Spinosauruses, like the Spinosaurus, the Baryonyx, the Irritator, the Suchomimus. They're just all so cool. But does this one have a sail on its back? And we'll get to that in just a few moments. So the Ichthyovenator is a Saurischian, a theropod, and then a Spinosaurid. Now, you guys, how big was this dinosaur? What was the length, the height, and the weight of our Ichthyovenator? How does it compare to those other Spinosaurids? Well, the Ichthyovenator right here gets up to sizes up to 34 feet in length, or 10.5 meters, from its crocodilian-like snout back to its long tail. Now, they believe it can get up to about 10 feet high, or 3 meters, right there at their hips, and they can weigh up to 4,800 pounds. Now, these are top estimates. During my research, research, I saw a little bit of a scale for our Ichthyovenator, where maybe they were only in the higher 20s, maybe only 28 feet long. But the highest estimate said up to 34 feet in length, or 10 feet high, and then 4,800 pounds. Now, it's one of the smaller Spinosaurids. It's very baryonyx, irritator, and Suchomimus-like. But remember, our Spinosaurus aegypticus up to 50 feet in length, and maybe somewhere between 12, or no, this one, our Spinosaurus, gets up to 23 feet high because of that sail on its back. So our Ichthyovenator, 34 feet in length, and our Spinosaurus up to 50 feet in length. So this one is quite a bit smaller of those Spinosaurids, but it is still pretty cool, and I'll get to why here in just a second. Now, how fast was this dinosaur? How quick was it running back during the Mesozoic Era? Well, it's very unknown, but we can assume maybe somewhere between 20, maybe 25 miles per hour. They're on that bipedal stance, walking on two legs, but as you know, Spinosaurus might have actually walked on four legs in a quadrupedal stance. So could the Ichthyovenator walk on 2 and 4 legs? Well, something very sad, we don't find very much of its limbs, you guys. We don't find their forelimbs. I believe they find a little bit of its legs, but we don't know much about its arms, so we're not going to be able to know for sure if it's getting down on all 4 legs. And they might have had somewhat of a fish's-like tail, like we see maybe on our Spinosaurus aegypticus. So it's probably getting in the water, swimming, and then even walking and running on land. And I'm guessing around 20 to 25 miles per hour, like I said, if we're clocking it with our speed gun. Now, what weapons or defense did this dinosaur have? What are the characteristics of our Ichthyovenator right here? I have the Jurassic World toy here in my science lab, and the colors on this one are just too cool. I love all these green-like colors because green is my favorite color. Now, the Ichthyovenator, we don't find any skull or limbs found from our Ichthyovenator, so we don't know really what its head fully looked like or how its arms and its legs really looked like. But we can look at other Spinosaurids in the Spinosaurids family to determine what this one probably looked like back during that Mesozoic era. So when we look at the baryonyx, we can see that our Ichthyovenator probably had somewhat of a 3-foot long skull, a low and narrow crocodilian-like skull, just like the rest of those Spinosaurids. Now, if we look at the irritator, another Spinosaurid, that one even has a small midline crest that kind of goes up the ridge of their skull up there from their snout to above their eyes. So our Ichthyovenator, probably somewhere around a 3-foot long, low, narrow, crocodilian-like skull and a snout, and maybe they even had somewhat of a midline crest, kind of like we see on the irritator. Now, when we look at their teeth, we only find a few teeth of the Ichthyovenator, but we're really not sure on how many teeth they had. It's probably somewhere between 64, like the Spinosaurus, all the way up to maybe like 93 teeth, like I believe we saw on the Suchomimus or maybe the baryonyx. But our Spinosaurids, anywhere from 64 to 93 teeth. Now, our Ichthyovenator, they probably have a few more teeth than our Spinosaurus. Our Spinosaurus is just so big, they're going to have a bigger bite force. They don't need as many of the teeth. But these smaller dinosaurs that don't have as big of a bite force are going to need more teeth. So our Ichthyovenator, I bet it's somewhere in the 80s, maybe 80 to 90 of those straight conical-like teeth. Now, like I said, they're straight and conical. They're very pointy. They're not curved like our T-Rex. So these ones are using those straight and conical-like teeth to be able to get all kinds of stuff out of the water. All those marine-type species, fish, maybe even some prehistoric sharks. Now, the Ichthyovenator, its tooth is just over an inch in length, 1.3 inches in length, and they're not serrated. It's not like a steak knife or the T-Rex's tooth. There's no serrations on it. It's very sharp and it's smooth, so it's going to be like a pike or a spear getting all those fish out of the water. And as you can guess it, they're eating fish like I mentioned. So they're a piscivore mainly and not a carnivore. A carnivore eats meat on land, and a piscivore eats meat out of the water, all kinds of marine and water creatures. Now, they believe they they still had somewhat of robust forelimbs, kind of like we see on our Spinosaurus. They've got longer arms than our tyrant lizard king, the T-Rex, and maybe that's helping them swim throughout the water, or maybe hunt things out of the water, using those three-fingered claws to trap their prey under the waters. Now, they have a Spinosaurus-like body, those three-fingered claws like I mentioned, and maybe they even have somewhat of a thumb spear. So our Suchomimus we find, they have a longer sort of thumb, or that first finger is longer than the other two fingers, and it's somewhat of a spear-like claw. So maybe our Ichthyovenator had that spear-like thumb claw as well. Now, they probably had paddle-like feet, an eel-like tail behind them, and that's helping them swim all throughout the water. Maybe helping them propel forward, or helping them turn all throughout the waters as they're hunting for all kinds of food. Now, their bite force is going to be weaker than their snap. So they're going to be able to snap their jaws a lot faster like a crocodile than the force of the bite itself. So snap is quicker than our bite force's pressure. Now, they had a very advanced brain. They're smart, a smart theropod, and they have very good sight and good hearing, and maybe even a good sense of smell, or maybe even those snout nose sensors for underwater, so they could feel the vibrations underneath the surface as they're hunting for all kinds of food. Now, let's get to that sail, because that's what really sets this Spinosaurid against the rest. The Ichthyovenator has a wave-like double sail. That's right, a double sail. Now, it's split, or we can say it drops down over the hip and then up again. So we have a sail. So imagine the Spinosaurus's sail. It has that big rainbow shape across its back. Well, our Ichthyovenator, as that rainbow gets over its hips, it goes down, although almost all the way down to its back, and then it goes up again over their back legs, makes the rest of the rainbow, and down towards the tail. So it's somewhat of a double or a wave-like sail, and scientists probably believe it's more for display. They can tell each other apart between their friends and family, maybe a little bit for mating, maybe they even had cool colors on the sail that would attract some of the other Spinosaurids, like our other Ichthyovenators. So probably a little bit for display, maybe it helped them swim in the water a little bit, but that notch or that little piece that kind of looks like it's missing, I wonder if that would have affected how fast they could swim under the water. So I'm going with display for our Ichthyovenator, but that double sail right there is just too cool. You don't see it on some of those other Spinosaurids like our Spinosaurid, our Baryonyx, our Suchomimus, our Irritator. Really cool for our Ichthyovenator with that double sail feature. Now, where did this dinosaur live, and how long did this genus, the Ichthyovenator, live back during that Mesozoic era? Well, this one's coming in the fossil record 125 up to 113 million years ago, during the early Cretaceous period. It's living in somewhat of a semi-aquatic habitat. Remember, they're hunting down in the waters for all kinds of food, probably coming back on land, maybe eating some of the food on land, looking for other Ichthyovenators, maybe walking around, you guys, maybe even getting some sun rays on the beach so they're getting a good tan for the summertime, or maybe even building a sand castle to destroy. That's where our Ichthyovenator could live, in its sand castle. That would just be too cool. Now, the holotype, or the very first specimen found of our Ichthyovenator, was found in Laos, and that's in Southeast Asia. And it was found in the Gres Superius Formation. And it was found back in 2010 and named in 2012 by a group of 4 paleontologists. And it was described by a single specimen. And like I said, they don't find very much of this one, but it actually is the most complete Spino of Asia. So they find some vertebrae, those that are the spinal bones. They find their hips, their pelvis, the pubis bone, some ribs, and even some teeth. And like I said, the most complete Spinosaurus of Asia. Super cool, you guys. And it's not the first Spinosaurus found in Asia, because that one's to our Siamosaurus, which they only occasionally find some teeth fragments, so they don't know very much about that type of Spinosaurid. Well, you guys, did I give it a good enough review to have a good debate is why the Ichthyovenator is one of the best dinosaurs, or maybe just one of the best Spinosaurids that lived back during the Mesozoic era? Now, you guys remember, the Ichthyovenator is up to 34 feet in length, or 10.5 meters. They're up to 10 feet, or 3 meters high, weighing around 4,800 pounds. They're probably going somewhere between 20 and 25 miles per hour, walking on 2 legs, or maybe even 4, going down in the water, swimming for all kinds of fish. We don't find their skull or their limbs, but we can probably know their skull is about 3 feet long. Our Spinosaurus, they have a 6-foot long skull. Now, it's still long and narrow, crocodilian-like snout. They might have had that midline crest. They probably have somewhere between 80 to 90 straight conical-like teeth. They have longer arms than like our T-Rex, a Spinosaurus-like body with 3-fingered claws, and maybe even that cool thumb spear, paddle-like feet, maybe an eel-like tail, and very good sight and hearing. And remember, they have that wave-like double sail that split right there at the hips, you guys, making it look too cool. One of the coolest sails of any of the dinosaurs. I think it's actually the coolest sail, even cooler than the Spinosaurus aegypticus, and it lived back during the early Cretaceous period, 125 to 113 million years ago. So what is going to be our fossil score for our Ichthyovenator? Is it a good enough score for our debate today? The Ichthyovenator, 1 score for some of those weakest dinosaurs, or 10 scores, or 10 fossils for some of the strongest? Well, you guys, after our review today, after our debate, I wanted to give our Ichthyovenator an 8.4. An 8.4 for the Ichthyovenator. Not a good enough score to beat that Spinosaurus, a 9.2, but it is still, believe it or not, a really good score. It falls in the 8s, an 8.4 for the Ichthyovenator on the Dinosaur Review for Kids podcast. That was just a V for victory review for sure. The Ichthyovenator might not be the most famous of the Spinosaurids family, but its double sail feature is definitely something that sets it apart from the rest. The majestic fish hunter would have made a great dinosaur president, but could it have beat the Pentaceratops? Maybe someday we'll find out. Wink, wink. Well, just like the dinosaurs, the finest steel has to go through the hottest fires. An 8.4 is perfect for today's Spinosaurid called the Ichthyovenator. But hey, President Nixon always used to raise his hands into the air and put up double peace signs, and he called it his V's for victory. And even right here, I have a T-Rex, guys, and it has his V's for victory. I made it a tie, and it has that Nixon hairdo up there on top. And this one's my Nixon Tyrannosaurus Rex toy that you guys can see on my video cast. Now, Nixon also once said, if you take no risks, you will suffer no defeat. But if you take no risk, you will win no victories. And it just means sometimes if you take no risks, you won't be able to reap the rewards of victory. And this is something that I've been thinking a lot about lately. If I never open up a real brick and mortar Stomp Chomp Roar store, I'll never know what victories I could have. It would be so cool to have a place where kids could go and buy all kinds of dinosaur stuff, like an Ichthyovenator toy, or a place where they could go to make all kinds of prehistoric dig kits, or maybe even destroy them there at the fossil bar. A place where you could go to have dynamite birthday parties, and a place where you could go to have a frozen ice age treat. Someday, I promise for sure. Now, if you can remember, I've always loved studying history, from dinosaurs all the way to United States history. And alongside dinosaurs, I've also loved researching the 1960s, from President JFK, LBJ, and Richard M. Nixon. My license plate on my Jeep, it even says Watergate, and I've always get so many people asking me about it, so it's just so funny. And maybe it just refers to the underwater gate that was left open at Jurassic World that caused that Mosasaurus to escape into the deep ocean waters. And hey, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. But you guys, a quick joke before we go today. What did the Ichthyovenator say to the other dinosaurs in the White House kitchen? What did it say? What did the Ichthyovenator say to those other dinosaurs in the White House kitchen? It said, "I'm not a cook." Get it? It's not, "I'm not a crook, I'm not a cook." The Ichthyovenator said, "I'm not a cook." He doesn't know how to cook in the kitchen. But Richard Nixon said, "I'm not a crook," back during the Watergate trials, you guys. Now, during our next podcast episode, we are going to the beautiful Hawaiian Islands. So grab your pineapple, your tiki heads, and your pterosaurs, because our next and final review of season number 7 is going to be on a prehistoric flying reptile, those pterosaurs of the Mesozoic Era. And any guesses? It starts with the letter S. And also next week, we'll have a special guest to help me review our next prehistoric creature. Well, that's it, everyone. I need to go watch some Nixonian history, or go watch the Frost-Nixon interviews. And maybe I could even listen to those Watergate tapes. But what was that thing called dino-gate? I didn't cover up the events of Jurassic Park, or I didn't take any of those dinosaur toys. Maybe it just means I'm the coolest dinosaur guy, or maybe it means I have the most dinosaurs than anyone in the entire world. In that case, therefore, I shall resign the Dinosaur Review for Kids podcast effective at noon tomorrow. I'm just kidding. I'll roar at everyone next week. One more review left before our next prehistoric cage match episode. Are you guys excited or what? Now remember, my name is Dinosaur Ranger Anthony, your Nixonian host for today's podcast. And as always, keep digging for dinosaurs. I'm not a crook.